Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. Today we have the debut of actually a video that I've always wanted to do, and I wanted to take some time to talk about the U.S. Mint coin market. All right, and today we are actually going to look at the very first video, which is going to be a weekly series where we take a look at all of the more, I would say, relevant U.S. Mint products that release every year. All right, so our report is gonna look something like this. So I actually have all the data, okay, put up on these sheets for you guys to take a look at, so that way you guys know a few things. Okay, what are the most relevant US Mint products that sell or get offered every year? But also we're going to take a look at how these particular US Mint products perform after they've been released. All right, and what I want to do, ideally for this kind of like debut video, is to kind of show you the ins and outs of how this all works. We're going to use actually all the data provided from 130 point. I'll either use 130 point or eBay in the event that some of the listings that sell on eBay are best offer type of listings, okay, where someone actually hits the best offer button on the listing and then type something in. Usually on eBay completed archives, it's not going to show that, as you guys know. So that's why we use an auxiliary site that you just saw, like 130 point, where we could actually identify how much those specific coins have sold for. So some of you will probably end up asking too as we go along this video, because we're going to talk about nothing but 2020 issues. A lot of you are going to ask, well, what about the 2021s? Well, my friends and ladies and guys, that'll come in due time. Okay, what we want to do ultimately is take a look at a full year of releases, all right, and then kind of gauge from a certain point how these particular sets are doing, all right, or singular coins or commemoratives, all right. So that is kind of like the ultimate goal through all of this, is to take a look at a full year's of product. And there was a lot of popular stuff that sold in 2020. Another thing to consider is brand new 2021 stuff is still being sold and produced. Now, there's a few items from 2020 that is still available to purchase. But I figure for something like this, when we have a full year of product, we could collectively kind of focus in on nothing but these 2020 mint products and kind of gauge exactly where the market is for a few of them. Most importantly, where are the buying opportunities among some of these items, and it's all going to be laid out. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you do, comment down below. You know, kind of give me some feedback. I mean, ideally, I want to know what can I do to improve upon this video. All right, so we're going to go ahead and dive right in to some of the first US Mint products that we're going to kind of take a market analyzation of, and that's going to be the proof and mint set products released for 2020. So after about 12 months of release, okay, the market has had time to kind of figure out its pricing, okay, kind of like the market adjustment where the actual real prices are on some of these. And usually after 12 months after release, we have a pretty good kind of snapshot excuse me, of these. So what you see here on screen is I actually have the 2020 proof set, which is all clad, all right, and 11 coins. We'll get into that here in a second. The 2020 proof set, that's all in silver. And then we also have the uncirculated, what we call mint set, okay, and that's both a P and D issue. Now, the 2020 proof clad in silver sets, as you guys remember, had a bonus coin that was included into that, and that's how this is going to be figured in to the actual market prices every week. Is that the bonus coin has to be included in order to realize that amount of money. So let's say if you decide you wanted to go and sell these coins, you need to actually make sure you know what you have to include into that set as you sell them, like on eBay or on Facebook or whatever. So we also have the original list price of the coins. So the clad proof set was originally offered for $32. Okay, the silver set was issued at $60, and then finally the uncirculated set had an issue price of $25.25 at release. Now, if we go here to the market data for this week, and keep in mind, okay, this video obviously is going to drop on a, and with these coins, what I really want to do is actually do the video on a Wednesday instead of every Friday, because it'll kind of conflict with my pocket change market report. So probably from this day forward, you're going to see the US Mint market update video drop on a Wednesday afternoon. Okay, that's what I want to do. It's kind of like break up the week a little bit. But this is the actual market data on average for the past 7 days of these respective sets. And as you can see, the proof set clad actually has been selling on average for $115, which is pretty crazy considering it's a clad set. You know, it's all copper nickel coinage. If we go into, first of all, we'll take a look at the US Mint product page so that way you guys can see exactly what the proof set had. Now, both or all three of these sets that I'm outlining for you today are in what they call remind me, you know, unavailable. Okay, there's probably a pretty good chance that these will no longer be available anymore on the US Mint website. Now, that could all change, you know, and the best way that you could kind of test that theory is if you hit remind me, then you could always put in your email in there, and the US Mint will automatically send you a reminder of, hey, this product is now in stock. You can go and purchase some more. But you know, this is I believe 11 coin set. In addition, you also receive the regular standard proof 2020 West Point nickel. And actually, in my Excel sheets, I actually have the W Mint mark nickels in a completely separate tab. All right, because that's a very interesting coin as a standalone on the secondary market. Okay, I had talked about that coin being something that you should probably consider buying about 6 months ago. You know, at the time, it was like a $10, $15 coin, and you will be pleasantly surprised at where that coin is officially at today. All right, so this is for all the coins. It's copper nickel clad. So obviously, you know, the set is kind of what I consider to be one of its lower end offerings from the US Mint. The silver proof set, which was released April 17th, as you would expect, would have all silver coins. And the original issue price was actually less than this. They actually hiked the price up because of silver demand. This is all 999 fine silver coins, with exception of the nickel and the penny and the sack dollar. So the dime, the quarters, the half dollars, these were all available in 999 fine. Also, something to keep in mind is that the 2020 bonus West Point nickel is a reverse proof. Okay, that's going to be important. So as you can see, this one is also out of stock. And the mint set actually dropped all the way toward the end of the year. November 30th, I believe, is when this one was available. And everybody thought that there would be another 2020 West Point nickel to be released there, but there isn't. So you were just really buying an uncirculated set, all business strike coinage. You can even make the argument that they're kind of like a burnished or, you know, satin strike or something like that is what they refer to it. But you could see that this does not have that extra nickel. So that's why you see this this price reflected as such, as being just $40. But also keep in mind, in comparison to the actual uncirculated set issue price, it's gone up, you know, a good fair bit, you know, almost $15. The proof set has jumped up quite a bit more. That one's up about $100. And then probably one of the more surprising coins on the list is going to be that clad proof set at $115. And I actually went on 130 point and I took the last few sales of these sets and just did an average, because some of them had sold for, like, say this first one for a clad set at $119.95, but then if you go down the list, you'll see one that probably sold for like $115, okay, which is what this one is here. And that you got to make sure that it includes the extra West Point nickel, okay, which is kind of, I hate to admit it, a extra value force when it comes to the market of these sets. The sets by themselves don't really sell for a whole lot of money if it doesn't have that West Point nickel. So as you can see, I mean, this is a price you would realize for a proof set without that nickel at $44.50. That's a nearly $70 drop in value. So it might be worth it to sell the proof set with that nickel in order to maximize the potential of the amount of money that you will receive. Like here's one here that sold for $125 on May 19th. So it has its fair share of listings through the last 7 days. I mean, there is quite a bit more, and we could go on down the list. Here's another one right here. Let's see. Well, this has no West Point nickel, but it's for 2 sets, and it sold for $135. So as you can see, the prices are kind of, within a specific range for this specific proof set. And if we went to the silver proof set, this is actually incredible, because you'll also see similar types of prices on this with that West Point reverse proof Jefferson nickel. All right, so you're going to see here, this is through 32 bids that sold yesterday in the amount of $171.63. So this silver set is definitely one of the more surprising U.S. Mint products that we're going to talk about today. Here's another one right here with the nickel for $155. All right, so that's where I got the data for each one of these. So we used $165 as an average for the silver proof set, $40 for the Unc set. The product average of all three on this page comes out to $106.67. You're probably going to say, well, that doesn't really make any difference, or, it really does not need to play a role in here. But throughout the next few weeks, it will make sense because, let's say next week, all three of them go up in price. Collectively, we want to know how the market is doing for 2020 mid-set products. All right, so maybe we'll see a 10% bump going into next week, and then I'll add in like a line chart and everything like that, and you'll begin to see the trends on how these products are doing as we continue on time. All right, so that's pretty cool, and this is the first page. So the first page takes a little bit more of more explanation, and I wanted to make sure that you guys know where I got the market data from. And these are all realized sales, and then we just went ahead and did an average of all of the sales for these products. All right, so the next, I would say, big release from last year are going to be these basketball commemorative coins. So there was a number of them that were released, and I think this might have been a detriment to the actual series because there were so many variants of this coin. You had your clad, and they all had a really pretty curve, convex or concave or whatever design craftsmanship to them, so they were quite attractive. But there was clad, there was 999 fine silver, and there was also a gold that were released all in one shot. And then a few days later, the U.S. Mint had released what they called their first colorized coins, where they actually applied I think an enamel with a coat of some sort onto them. I don't know how it works. It might have been kind of like a annealed, heat-treated process. But we also took those into account too. Now, on this particular page, you're going to see some market data on here that's in red. Okay, what that denotes is that these products are selling for under what the original MSRP or list price was through the U.S. Mint. All right, so for example, this first line right here, the Basketball Hall of Fame 50 cents clad proof in raw, was originally offered at $44 on release, and now these have a secondary market sale of only $35. So they have definitely dipped. And And I also added in corresponding Proof 70 grades. It doesn't matter if it's NGC or PCGS, but I've added all of those in there so that way you guys see that. But let's go ahead and take a quick glance at what these coins look like without actually clicking into the product, because I didn't buy any. Here are the two colorized. So the clad $50 had an orange basketball and then a red rim along with the netting that were all colorized. And then on the silver version, the rim was colorized in red, and it also had the white netting, and those were the colorized pieces of that coin. So those were available in August, and if we go back a few months, in June is when they released the regular gold, silver, and clad. All right, and then this is what they look like. I mean, they're quite attractive, if and only if you're into this sort of stuff. I know a few years ago they released a Hall of Fame baseball type of this coin, and it was hot out of the chute, and it cooled off tremendously, and it hasn't quite found its price point. It's still low. You still had prices that kind of fluctuated about maybe 10-20% since its release. And keep in mind, this was already a few years ago. So I suspect that we'll see the same kind of price trends with a lot of these basketball coins. All right, so here's some market data for the basketball coins, and as you can see, they're kind of very specific for certain coins. The silver proofs were hovering between $50 and $56, $57. We had a few of them that ended this week, and those are raw, ungraded examples. The proof 70s for the colorized have been kind of hovering between $90 and $100. All right, so that's reflected in there. Here's the colorized proof silver dollar, and this is a $50 bundle, so it's both coins together for $105, which I think is a little bit low because they were selling it as a bundle. They're kind of ready to accept a discounted deal because you had more of something in one listing. But if we look down the list, again, the regular silvers are selling for between $50 and $60. The clads are between like $35 and $40. Graded examples, there's very few of them that have eclipsed $100. They're all actually, if you wanted a proof 70 in a silver, you can actually get them for about $80 to $85. All right, so that's where we're at here with the actually graded examples of the colorized proof 70 silver. Have been going for about $150. There was a few sales between $148, I believe, and $155. So we just went kind of right in the middle at $150, and that'll all change as we go on through time. The golds have been taking a pretty decent hit, in spite of the fact that they are gold. They're not 1 ounce golds. They're actually a lot smaller than that, and that's reflected on the price. But the $5 gold proof raw was a coin that you could have gotten for $6.86 at release, and then now it's only worth about $6.35. There was actually one documented sale of that coin for under $600. All right, I believe it was like $5.86 and some change, somewhere around there. We have no data for any proof 70 of the proof version of that gold coin. There hasn't been that's sold in the last 90 days. Otherwise, I would have put it in there. And the same goes for a raw uncirculated gold. All right, so that one right there is also a no data. All right, and because of that, there's going to be no product average or average growth. Probably won't happen until next week. If and only if we see some recorded sales of both of those coins in there. But as you can see, if you wanted to get a proof 70 silver proof of that coin, that's at $85. Where you're going to pay more of a premium is for the colorized versions. Now, the coins that are performing better than expected out of the bunch is going to be the uncirculated mid-state 70, and it could either be an NGC or PCGS graded slab holder at $145. And then the colorized clad out of all coins, which is the copper nickel with the orange basketball and the red rim on there, at $85. And that's for a raw example. And take a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. There were a few listings of Proof 70 colorized clad coins at $85. So, you know, go figure. Might as well just buy the graded stuff and leave the ungraded stuff alone. The person that owned it would have taken the hit for, or depreciation or whatever, for the grading services. So that's important. You got to know when to jump into stuff like that. Next, we're going to jump into premium bullion, and we got one other tab to look at. But this is all going to be kind of like your funny one-off kind of, you know, silver or gold or platinum or palladium, kind of like a commemorative type of issue. And we had a few in here that warranted some looks. The first one right here is going to be the West Point Silver Eagle Proof. All right, this is the one that released, I believe, either the end of January or the beginning parts of February, at $73. This one right now, today, on the secondary market, average price for a raw example is $109. And then graded Proof 70 examples have been falling in that $165 to $169. I actually did not see any recorded sales of that coin above $170. Not yet. We'll see. Here's one right here that took quite a beating, and that's the Declaration of Independence Happiness. As a matter of fact, I believe this coin is still available. This is the platinum $100 face value proof coin, and let's see here. And sure enough, it is still available. You can still add it to the bag. It has a mintage of only 13,000 pieces, which, you know, which is kind of, seems a little bit high for a platinum issue. I usually see these in the 4-digit range, you know, like 7, 8, 9,000 pieces. But this one right here at $17.95, obviously, if it's available on eBay or the secondary market for a little bit less than that, you know, definitely the way to go. And let's see, that's the proof. Here we go. All right, so the Declaration Platinum, we had a couple sales. Here's a Proof 70 that sold for $1,900. And here's also a raw example of that same coin at $16.50. And those were the only two recorded sales within the last 90 days. And those two sales, one was in March and another one was in, well, they were both in March. I'll take that back. But as you can see, the market's drying up, but it's not indicative of the actual price movements. We're seeing just incredibly affordable prices. And it stands to reason, you know, that you should probably, if you were at all interested in something like this, is to go buy one on eBay rather than buying one on the US Mint website, because it is going to be a little bit cheaper. And there are going to be a few pieces that are available on eBay, and you know, they are going to be available for over $100 or more discounted price, because they're still available at the US Mint. So that's those two respectively have taken a pretty big hit. The Declaration of Independence Proof 70s, I remember, used to sell for between $3,000 to $4,000 at issue for those coins, and that's with the FDOI tag on there. Some of the other better performing coins, we got the Burnished West Point Uncirculated Silver Eagle, which had an opening price of $67. And now the secondary market is beginning to see a little bit of nudging upwards at $75. And then mid-state 70 examples were at $172.50. The S-Proof right here, just performing admirably. But I think the one spot where everybody really wants to know how it's doing are the V75 Silver Eagles. Okay, the Silver Eagle and the Gold Eagle that was released last fall. So the V75 Silver Eagle $1, this was a coin that took the world by storm essentially last year, is beginning to make some rebounding movement. All right, this is a coin that you could have bought for $83. Like I remember it like it was yesterday, and right now a raw example is selling for $350. These have dipped down to just under $300 as recently as a few months ago. And then Proof 70 examples have been selling for about between $650 and $600, or $600 and $650. And this is the average through the last few documented sales of this coin on here. And let's see. It's going to be right here. All right, so we see a few of the 75th anniversary. Here's one that sold for $5.85. And then we'll see another one somewhere down here. Here's one that sold for $5.95. And I believe there was another one that sold for maybe a little bit higher, or maybe not. Here are two examples that sold for $12.25. So if you split that right in the middle for two proof 70s, that's $6.12 and some change. Here's another one right here that sold for $6.90. So they're kind of like all over the place right now. But rest assured, I'm not going to say it's still trying to find its price point. I think with all the volatility of PMs, this is certainly moving these coins upward. And we're also seeing that for every other Silver Eagle release of this time. So, just these are beginning to climb back up. Keep in mind that the V75 Silver Eagle, the V75 Silver Eagle was a coin that right out of the gate you could have sold for between $500 and $600. And yeah, again, it dipped down to under $300 at one point. The Gold Eagles, okay, this is a really good redemption story because we're beginning to see these climb up in price. And again, I think this is more of the precious metal market kind of, reinvigorating itself. And it's kind of playing hand in hand with what's going on in the crypto market. People are cashing out of crypto at the opportune times, and they're buying physical assets like these, and they're just holding on to them, okay? Because eventually, with a coin like the V75 Gold Eagle with a mintage of only 1,945 pieces, there's going to get a point where these things are just going to begin to just shoot straight up, okay? I would say probably this is going to be a $20,000 coin within the next few years, okay? And that's putting it very lightly, and it might sound a little bit of speculative, but I feel very confident that coin has tons of trajectory just based off of not only the mintage, but what it means as far as a numismatic collectible. All right, so raw coins have been selling on average for $10,100, and then the proof 70s have seen some pretty good upward movement. We are at an average of $14,775. If we looked at the previous sales of this coin, you'll see that, let's see, well, not adding in this one right here, because there's something jank with this one for it to sell for $1,600 when the sale price was originally $16,500. Yeah, I'm really not putting too much stock in this listing. But if you come down here to the first one here from May 20th, here's a proof 70 that sold for $17,000. We have a few proof 69s in there as well. They're just hovering around 9,000. Here's another proof 70 for $12,500. So that's a pretty big discrepancy, all right, between $12,500 and the other one that sold for $17,000. So I went right in the middle at $14,100 and some change, and we're good to go there. So that's the first day, or the V75 Gold Eagle. We got product average throughout all of the coins and grades at $2,515.13. And of course, since this is week one, we have a 0% growth. All right, so we're not going to see any sort of movement till next week, hopefully. And then finally, the last one that I think a lot of us were waiting to hear about are the West Point bonus coins of the proof Jefferson nickels. And these were both struck at the West Point Mint. And that's what makes them fun, and that what makes them a little bit unique, is that these were coins that were never intended to be struck at that facility, but because of some of the cool things that they were doing last year and the previous year with the Lincoln cents, that we are seeing just, as you expect, some pretty strong price movements for a freebie coin. So based off of some information and data from the last about 30 days, the West Point proof Jefferson, just a regular proof, raw, has been going for $27.50. Now, 6 months ago, I did a video on this coin and had mentioned that, you know, at $10 to $15 a pop, this was probably a no-brainer buy. You know, it's kind of like the West Point ATB quarters that were released into circulation. If you're able to find some rolls or large lots of uncirculated coins, those would be an easy pickup because we're beginning to see the prices move upwards for those coins. Now, where I feel like there's a lot of bargain from these West Point nickels is going to be the graded examples, guys. Proof 70s in both the regular proof and the reverse proof are firmly holding between $65 and $75. I mean, shoot, that is kind of a no-brainer buy right there. That's a coin that somewhere down the line will end up being $150 to $200. And the more that you have, the bigger position that you carry of both of those graded examples will be worth so much more than trying to hold on to a bunch of raw examples. Because again, the previous owners of those coins have taken the hit of the grading fees, so you don't have to. That's the beauty part. So, you know, the reverse proof raw and the regular proof raw have been holding tight at $27.50. We see that very evident right here. You just see the prices like all over the place. For the graded examples, the proof 70s is what we use for the pricing calculations in this market report. But you could see between $45 and $50 in some coins, some instances for the proof 70s. And then here's another one that sold for $83. So we took an average of all those prices, put them together, and that's how we got at the $65 for those coins. And then you can see individual examples. Here's one that sold for $28.85 as a buy it now. Here's another one at $21. Here's another one at $18. But they're just kind of all over the place. Here's another one for $23.98, $28.90, $29.45. So the $27.50, I feel is very confidently that it is the right kind of ballpark average for these West Point coins. And I would say, bar none, for everything that you see here, these are the coins right here. Out of all the coins that we've talked about today, I am extremely bullish on. Because the mintages are going to be like 500,000 pieces or under. Just based off of the normal mintage limits of the proof and silver proof sets, because this coin was made in conjunction with actual production and mintage of those sets. So if the US Mint had made 450,000 proof sets, well, you better believe that there's 450,000 2020 West Point proof nickels. So graded examples are a shoo-in, ladies and gentlemen. If you could get them at $65 to $75, I would say that is incredibly just, you know, again, no-brainer. I continue to say that same thing. Product average, $48 for all four of these types. And again, we're starting over at 0% growth. So that's what I wanted to talk about in this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We were able to talk about a bunch of stuff from last year. You guys get to see firsthand, after all of the diligent kind of like data gathering and just plugging in math and all that great stuff, that you guys will like and appreciate this weekly kind of update on the US Mint product. And then probably sometime this fall, we'll begin to integrate 2021 product. But there is a good kind of like 3 to 6 month range of time for these products to kind of find like their base value. Because coins will come out from the mint. They'll drop in price or they'll increase in price, but you know, there's going to be a lot of fluctuation in those values during the first 3 to 6 months. So it's important that we get some kind of normalcy from that before we go and produce kind of like market cap data, kind of like what you see here. Again, all the stuff from 2020, I feel very confidently that we have a very stable pricing, very stable auction closed numbers that we could confidently go in here and say, yeah, these coins have been selling consistently for between this much shorter range than, say, if we looked at a current proof set from 2021 and say, yeah, they sell all the way down here at 40 bucks, and they could go as high as 90. That's too much of a range, and it's not reliable data to give to you guys for future spec. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I want to thank you guys for joining. I know it's a long video, but they'll go quicker. I just need to get this first one out of the way to help explain and show you guys where we're at on this data, essentially. But I hope you enjoyed it. Would love to hear your comments, criticism, anything you want to throw down below in the comment field. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Thank you guys for joining in on this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Hit that good old bell for instant notification. Coinaholics, we are discovering together. You guys take care. Happy hunting, and I'll see you on the next coin video. So long.